Legend of Total War here, and today we're doing another Total War Warhammer 3 Immortal Empires campaign review, this time covering Wurrzag the Great Green Prophet. So Wurrzag starts his campaign over at Ekrund, which is in the middle of the Badlands. It's the same start location he's had in Total War Warhammer 1 and 2, and he's pitted up against the Teeth Snatchers green-skinned tribe, and this is probably one of the easiest start positions in the game. This is a very easy situation to deal with. But the great thing about this start position here is that there's an obvious choice with how to deal with it, and then there's a not so obvious choice that has perhaps a added benefit, and we'll go through those options here. So if you understand how greenskins work, right, if you take any one of your lords and defeat their faction leader, which is this guy down here, you'll have the option to confederate a greenskin faction. Now you're stuck within the zone of control of this guy here, so Creative Assembly is sort of leaning you towards smashing this army, but you don't have to do that. If you attack it and then back off, you'll get out of the zone of control, and you'll still have enough movement to come down to Dragonhorn Mines. And even without attaching the hero, you can still auto-resolve it on very hard battle difficulty. Of course, you should fight it manually. And rather than smashing that army, you can bend it to your will and use it to your advantage. So those are two different options that you have for the start of your campaign. Neither is right or wrong. This option here gives the advantage of having more troops to begin with. The disadvantage of it is that by smashing this army, you get Wurrzag more experience. Not a lot of experience, but you get some. And because it's a very small army, and a bit of loot out of it. But it's entirely up to you which way you want to go about it. Now, after you've captured your first few regions here on turn 1, in terms of which direction you want to go, entirely depends on you, because there's loads of options. If you want to go south and capture Galbaraz, not a problem. Just keep in mind that the top-notch greenskins are actually savage orcs as a race. They're not the same race as you, which means you can't confederate them. So just got to keep that in mind. So if you go and hunt down Luggan Ninefingers and defeat him, he will not offer a confederation. Whereas these guys up north, the Scabbii, they are the same race as you, and so you can confederate them if you go and beat their lord over there. So going north, I think, has a few more advantages, because going to defeat Thorgrim Grudgebearer up here will give you a trait that gives you extra research rate, which is really handy, because the Big Thinkin has a lot of big bonuses in here, so getting that research rate nice and early is very good. And also Skarsnik is over here now, so getting a confederation nice and early isn't so bad. And then you're moving up towards here where you've got Azag the Slaughterer, and that's not too far away from Grimgore. And then you've got Grom the Paunch over here. So playing as Wurrzag, you're in a pretty good position to get the other legendary lords relatively quickly. Now, talking about Wurrzag himself, Wurrzag is one of the best greenskin legendary lords, if not the best greenskin legendary lord. Just talking about he himself at the moment, not his faction. So Wurrzag is an amazing spellcaster. Definitely the best spellcaster within the greenskins because of Titanic Beat. Reducing the Winds of Magic cost -9 for Foot of Gork means that he can cast it for 6 Winds of Magic, which is absolutely insane. Then on top of that, he is a beast at commanding his troops, giving reduced recruitment costs for Savage Orc units, reduced upkeep costs for Savage Orc units, physical resistance for Savage Orc units, and don't forget that Savage Orcs normally have a lot of physical resistance, so just on turn 1 they've got 45% physical resistance. And that's another reason for maybe not going down south, because down south there's a certain demon over here that has magical attacks that might be a bit trouble, whereas going north there's not too many demons up this way, not too many magical attacks, and they're going to really struggle against Savage Orcs with 45% physical resistance, making them essentially twice as strong as what they otherwise would have been. So Wurrzag is a very strong legendary lord. Now, in terms of his faction effects, they provide War has a chance to contain Savage Orcs, which not that big of a deal, but none of the specific unique units obtained in a War is that big of a deal. Enemy hero action success chance -50%. This one's alright, especially in the late campaign, because typically speaking in the early stages of the campaign, the AI is not really going to send too many heroes to do agent actions on you. But in the later stages of the campaign, when they've got heroes that are immortal, then this is far more likely. So reducing the action success chance by 50% almost guarantees that they will fail, the vast majority of the time. So that's a big deal there. And then charge bonus plus 25% for Savage Orc units, which is fine. It's not that big of a deal, but, they tend to charge into battle, so that's a bit of a stat boost for them. He doesn't have any unique campaign mechanic. The only greenskin that has a unique campaign mechanic is Grom the Paunch, and if you confederate Grom the Paunch, you will not get that unique campaign mechanic. But overall, I'd say that Wurrzag's campaign is very noob-friendly. This is a campaign that you could really use to get to the hang of the higher difficulties because it's very forgiving because you're so strong. So playing this campaign for optimal sort of fun, I'd say on very hard and legendary is quite suitable even for newer players because of the overwhelming strength of your Savage Orcs. It's sort of, you're compensated for the AI having more armies sent at you. And the thing is, with the greenskins, the more armies that are sent at you, the more experience that you'll gain, which also means the more loot that you'll gain as well. So considering that your recruit costs are a lot lower, you can field more armies by winning more battles. So it has like a compounding effect. So your campaign is enriched by higher difficulties. Not every faction in the game has that sort of effect where some factions are crippled on the higher difficulties, but greenskins kind of thrive on higher difficulties, which is why I actually quite enjoy them on Warhammer 3. So overall, that's my summary. Highly recommend giving Wurrzag a go, especially if you're new to greenskins, you want to give them a shot, or if you're sort of leaning towards trying your first very hard or legendary campaign, this is a good one to give it a shot. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Wurrzag. Also, let me know which legendary lord you'd like me to cover next. Appreciate you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Later.